AITA for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend move in with us after he lost his job. So, this all started about 6 months ago. I, 32F, live with my husband, 34M, and our 2 kids, ages 5 and 3, in a pretty decent suburban home. We both work full-time and generally split parenting pretty evenly. Life has been stable, comfortable, and low drama for the most part, until my younger sister, 28F, came to stay with us temporarily. My sister, let's call her Emily, has had a rough few years. She was living in a different state, working in retail, and barely making ends meet. She lost her job about a month before this whole situation started. She called me one evening, sounding desperate, telling me she had nowhere else to go and asking if she could stay with us just for a little while. Being the supportive older sister, I agreed, figuring a few weeks of housing while she found a new job wouldn't hurt. We set a limit of 1 month to start. When Emily arrived, she was clearly stressed and overwhelmed, but we did our best to welcome her. We have a spare bedroom, so she had her own space, and I made it clear that she needed to actively look for work and contribute around the house. Things were okay for the first couple of weeks, though I started noticing some small red flags. She was sleeping in late, not really looking for jobs with much enthusiasm, and spending a lot of time on her phone or watching TV. I mentioned it once or twice, but didn't want to push too hard. Then came the real curveball. Emily's boyfriend, Jake, 30M, lost his job too. I didn't know much about him before this, but from what I had seen during visits, he seemed laid back but also a bit immature and freeloady. Emily called me one day, panicked, saying Jake had nowhere to go and was asking if he could move in with us too. I was hesitant, but told her I'd think about it. After talking it over with my husband, we decided that no, Jake could not move in. Our house is already full with the 4 of us, and I was concerned about how adding another adult who wasn't contributing financially would affect our dynamic. I told Emily that if she wanted to continue staying with us, Jake would have to find other accommodations. Emily was furious. She said we were being unreasonable, that Jake was going through a tough time and needed family support. She accused me of being cold and selfish, saying family should stick together in hard times. I tried to explain our reasons, emphasizing that it wasn't personal against Jake, but a matter of practicality. Plus, Emily had only been staying with us for a few weeks, and I had made it clear from the beginning that it was temporary and contingent on her finding work. Over the next few days, Emily's attitude changed. She started slacking more on job hunting and becoming more demanding around the house. She would complain about everything, from the food we cooked to the way I managed the kids. The tension in the house became unbearable. My husband tried to mediate, but Emily just shut him down and insisted we were treating her unfairly. A couple of weeks in, Emily finally landed a part-time job at a local cafe, which was good progress. However, she still refused to make plans to move out. She said she felt stuck and that moving was overwhelming. I tried to help her find places or offer advice, but she kept making excuses. Then Jake started showing up at the house unannounced. Emily had sneaked him in a few times when she thought I wasn't home. I confronted her about it, and she admitted that she felt desperate and thought maybe we'd soften our stance if Jake was already there. I was livid. This was a violation of our trust and boundaries. I told Emily that if Jake moved in without permission, she would have to leave too. That night, Emily packed her bags and left in tears, saying I was heartless and didn't care about family. The fallout has been rough. Our parents took Emily's side and have been subtly criticizing me for not supporting my sister. Emily has blocked me on social media and isn't returning calls. My husband supports me, but is worried about the family drama escalating. I honestly don't think I was unreasonable. We offered temporary housing with clear expectations, and when those were crossed, I set boundaries. I'm not sure if I should have been more flexible or if I handled things poorly by refusing Jake in the first place. So, Reddit. AITA for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend move in with us and setting strict boundaries on Emily's stay. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, When do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to let my sister bring her newborn to my wedding, even though she's threatening not to come. This is a long one, so buckle up. I, 29F, am getting married next summer, and my fiancé, 30M, and I've been planning this for over a year now. We've always been very hands-on about the wedding details, wanting it to be a day that reflects us perfectly. One of the biggest challenges has been navigating family dynamics, especially with my younger sister, 24F. My sister has always been a bit of a wild card. She's incredibly talented and charismatic, but can be very impulsive and sometimes a bit dramatic. Over the last few years, we've had our ups and downs, but I thought we were in a good place leading up to the wedding planning. About 6 months ago, my sister told me she was pregnant. She and her partner have been together for a few years and seem happy, so I was supportive. However, her due date is just a week before my wedding. When I started sharing some of the wedding details with her, she mentioned she'd likely want to bring her newborn with her to the wedding. At first, I was caught off guard because the ceremony and reception are planned to be about 5 to 6 hours long, mostly in the evening, and we have a strict no-children policy, partly because the venue doesn't allow it for insurance reasons, and partly because we want our guests to be able to enjoy themselves without worrying about childcare. I explained this to her, emphasizing how much I wanted her to be there, but that bringing a newborn was just not feasible or allowed. I offered to help with babysitting or pay for a trusted babysitter to care for the baby during the wedding. But she got upset, saying it wasn't fair to exclude her child and that it felt like I was punishing her for having a baby. I tried to explain the practical reasons again, the venue rules, the logistics, the atmosphere we're aiming for. I even suggested she could bring her partner and they could spend some quality family time with the baby before or after the wedding day, but not at the event itself. Since then, the tension between us has grown. She started bringing it up to other family members, painting me as unreasonable and rigid. A few of our relatives have even approached me, saying they understand my sister's point, but also sympathize with my perspective. The hardest part has been that she's now threatening not to come to the wedding at all if she can't bring her newborn. This is where I'm stuck. I love my sister and want her there, but I also feel strongly about the rules I set for the wedding. It's my wedding day, and I don't think it's asking too much for her to respect that. I worry that if I cave and let her bring the baby, it could cause a domino effect where others expect similar accommodations, and the whole vibe of the day changes. At the same time, I'm feeling guilty because I know this is a sensitive time for her, being a new mom and all, and I don't want to damage our relationship over this. But I'm also angry because she's making this all about her needs and disregarding the boundaries we've set. My fiancé supports me on this and agrees with the no-kids policy. We're about 4 months away now, and the drama has intensified. She told me in a heated phone call that if I don't let her bring the baby, she won't only skip the wedding, but she might not talk to me anymore. I told her that's her choice, but I'm still hoping she'll reconsider. AITA for refusing to let my sister bring her newborn to my wedding despite her threats? Should I be more flexible and just let her bring the baby, or am I justified in standing firm? I feel torn because I don't want to lose her, but I also don't want to compromise the day I've been dreaming about for years. AITA for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend stay in my house after he caused a huge scene and damaged my property during a family gathering? I, 32M, have always been close to my family, especially my younger sister, 28F. We grew up in a small town, and even though we both moved away for college and work, we try to meet up for family dinners and celebrations regularly. My parents live a few hours away, so a lot of the family gatherings happen at my place since I have a bigger house and live in Central City location. About 2 years ago, my sister started dating this guy, Mark. At first, he seemed like a nice enough guy, respectful, charming, and apparently very successful in his career. My sister was really happy with him, and I was happy for her. We even invited Mark over for some dinners and get-togethers, and while he was mostly okay, I sometimes felt like he was a bit controlling or judgmental about small things, especially when it came to my sister. But since my sister seemed happy, I didn't push or say much. Over time, Mark became more involved in family events. At first, it was fine, but the longer he was around, the more tension I started noticing between him and other family members. For example, he would often interrupt conversations to correct people or put them down, or he'd make snide comments disguised as jokes. My parents tried to be polite, but I could see they didn't really like him. My sister, however, defended him, saying he was just different and highly intelligent. Fast forward to about 3 months ago. We were hosting a big family barbecue at my house for my birthday. Almost everyone was there: my parents, my sister and Mark, my grandparents, cousins, and a few close friends. It was supposed to be a relaxed day with good food and laughs. Things were going well at first, but as the day went on, Mark started acting strangely. He was drinking, which was unusual since he normally avoided alcohol. Then he got into a heated argument with my cousin over a political topic, which quickly escalated. Mark started yelling, and before anyone could stop him, he slammed his fist on the dining table, cracking the wood and causing a bunch of glasses to fall and break. Everyone went silent, and my sister immediately tried to calm him down, but Mark kept yelling and then stormed outside. A little while later, he came back in, furious, and tripped over one of the kids' toys near the entrance, knocking over a large flower vase that shattered against the floor. I lost my temper and told him to leave immediately. My sister begged me to be more understanding, saying he was under a lot of stress at work. I told her there was no excuse to ruin my house and embarrass the family. Mark didn't leave right away. Instead, he kept trying to argue with me and called me controlling, saying I was jealous because my sister was doing better than me. The rest of the family was visibly uncomfortable, and my parents looked upset. Eventually, Mark left, but not before threatening that my sister would regret how I was treating him. Since that day, my sister has been furious with me. She says I humiliated her and Mark in front of everyone, and that I should have handled the situation better. She's now refusing to come to any family events I host, and has accused me of being the reason her relationship with the family is strained. She even told our parents that I was being unfair and harsh, which has created a rift between me and my parents as well. Here's where things got worse. A week after the barbecue incident, Mark contacted me directly and asked if he could stay at my place for a few days. He claimed he needed a place to calm down and that he wanted to talk things out in person. I refused outright. I told him his behavior was unacceptable and that I wasn't comfortable having him in my house after what happened. He responded with a nasty message calling me petty and controlling, and said that my sister would think less of me for being so rigid. My sister found out about this exchange and confronted me, saying I was throwing Mark under the bus and being selfish. She also said that if I cared about her, I'd be willing to put my pride aside and let Mark stay, even if it was just for a short time. I told her that I cared about her, but that I could not, in good conscience, allow someone who disrespected my home and family to stay with me. Now, my sister has stopped talking to me entirely, and even my parents are disappointed that I won't give Mark a chance. I feel like I did what was right by standing up for myself and protecting my home, but I also don't want to lose my sister or create a bigger family divide. I'm torn because I don't want to be the bad guy, but I also don't want to compromise my boundaries. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to let my sister's boyfriend stay in my house after what he did? Should I have handled this situation differently? Or is it reasonable to expect respect for my home and my family?